If you have a Vizio M261VP that has no picture but it has sound, you might have a backlight problem that's out. And I have seen this on many of these different models, so I wanted to show you in case you're stuck trying to solve the problem just like I was. So if you take off the back side of your 26-inch TV, you'll see this underneath. Now the problem that I saw on many of these models is actually this is the main board, if you're not familiar with it. Here's where the backlight connector goes in. And what happens is that the LED strip is not getting the power that it needs to turn on so that you're getting picture and all the main board functions are working, but you can't see the picture. If you were to shine a flashlight up to the screen while this was on, you could kind of see some images and you could hear the sound. And again, that's because the backlight, there's a LED strip up here that's not working. And the problem that I saw on many different models is that if you follow this wire, there's a little connector here, and on the back side of that connector, the solder joints are broken off because somehow the TV got bumped or pushed or whatever. I have another one over here that I already took off that I wanted to show you. If I can zoom in there, if it'll focus. Yeah, you could see that I took this right off the TV. I don't know if you could tell there, but the connector, either at the factory or by some other means, when it got installed, that's what I assume, it got bumped. And you could see, I don't know if you could see it there, but there's 10 pins that go to 10 pads on that printed circuit board, and they don't line up correctly. And so sometimes, you know, you wiggle the TV, it might work, but eventually it's just not going to work at all because it's not connected properly. So in order to fix this, what I've done, and I fixed several of these, is I actually take off that whole connector, just use hot air, or I guess you could use a soldering iron, but a hot air, and pop that off. And then I take this backlight wire, and you only need there's 10 pins right there. So take your razor blade or X-Acto knife and cut a channel every two wires. So leave pins 1 and 2 connected and get rid of 3 and 4, and leave 5 and 6 and get rid of 7 and 8, and then leave 9 and 10. Then you can solder those together to create 3 solder points. On this board, do the same thing. Get rid of that, clean up the pads. I'm assuming you know how to solder. And then just solder 3 blobs joining pins 1 and 2, 5 and 6, and 9 and 10. And then what you do is you feed that wire through here, line them up, and just melt the solder right on top. So you're soldering the wire right to it. And just in case you're wondering, there are 10 pins here, but those other pins, the 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 pins, they don't do anything. And you can see it right on here. See the traces on there? There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 of them. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But you don't need all those pins to connect all 10. And yeah, that's it. And then you plug it back in and you will have a working M261VP. Thanks.